Yo, what's up, Pumptown and friends? Welcome back to another update. So what do we got going on here? Well, let's talk about it. Where to begin? Well, we did some back testing here today in the PM session, and we were just hunting the order block here in the smaller time frame that ended up materializing our order block here in the monthly time frame. Pretty sweet how price will fractal off and just materialize some of the best moves you've ever seen out of a discount in your entire life. Now, we did a magnificent job here. Congratulations to everybody who was riding with me on this. We did an awesome job navigating pretty much every candle. Some of them we took off, some were not obvious. Some actually ripped without us in like London or Asia. It just wasn't in a favorable time when we'd be looking for trades. I think it was actually this one here. This one just opened and just went turbo. But congratulations to everybody who was able to exploit a lot of this expansion and this impulse. From here, oh boy, I'm not sure if it wants to slam down yet. And I'm not into calling tops. That doesn't mean I won't play a short, but I'm definitely not about to be calling a top on NASDAQ. And if you go to the all-time history index, you will see that throughout NASDAQ's time in the market, it was never a good time to call a top on NASDAQ ever. So even though we're not quite up into this here, if you guys remember from way down in here, we were aiming for this specific gap right here. And booyah, we got a target acquired. So your job, as you're learning how to do this, is to find your model in here in the higher time frame and use that as a bias for your direction in your studies. So if you were looking for a dip intraday opening bell and you're studying these green candles, even the red ones you should be studying too, but you're going into that day, plotting your lines at midnight, and then you're drawing out, let's say for example, you were to study this guy. And you understand that that's an institutional order flow entry drill. And that was hit at, if I'm not mistaken, it was like unemployment claims in and around just before opening bell, if I'm not mistaken. And then it just drove it right up. That was a phenomenal move. So if you plot your line at midnight and then go into that on a 15-minute chart, you can study the profile and what happened in here. What time did it come and touch that discount array? What model showed its hand to you to determine that you had a shot to come up here into the premium sell? Okay, so that's how you'd be studying these candles. And this is how you do it. You do it in hindsight. And that's okay. Just grow with it for a while. Go and study, go and learn. If you're not one of my private friends, then go and study, go and learn, and come back and draw some lines on your chart. So, well, before I get into it, let's just talk about what happened today, because this was the end of the day. So I was mentioning last night that if we could get down to here for the CPI news and just dive, that I'd be really interested in putting some heavy risk to go and run into the purple box. So that didn't happen, did it? No, it did not. So I didn't put in a lot of heavy risk behind this trade today. At that time, we did breach the 30% retracement. So kind of just totally, pretty much practically terminating the idea that we were just going to launch and create a fair value gap. So then once we started to lose that 30% retracement, after I shut my update down, we ended up working in this wick here. So that was kind of something that I had wanted to see, and I had wanted to see it keep going. It just didn't do that. So we came about to the 50% retracement, and I'll show you when we go into a 15-minute chart. So the update was, in and around here, and that's that 50% retracement here, and we come and just about dapped it, and then that was the low of London session. So if I draw midnight on my chart, it might make a little more sense for you. Yeah, in the bathroom actually. So midnight, or your daily open, like your candles open, which is up here, but we use midnight. So midnight comes down, digs into the double bottom, hits the propulsion block here, and it's London kill zone, so you're expecting that stuff to work now. Creates the low of the session in the kill zone, perfect. The problem is that it didn't start accelerating down. So that was like pretty lame. But I woke up at like 5:30, so it's 8:30 here. So it was just before 5:30. And so I'm waking up here and I'm noticing what happened. We had made the low of the session in London, and just like the 2 days prior, I'm considering that the low of the day could be in, but maybe not. So I'm looking at these equal lows now, and I'm going, so 8:30 a.m. price just snaps for this target, and right away I am just like, lame. Why lame? Because it could just keep going. It could go just absolute miles and miles beyond our expectations. It's just not ready yet, that's all. So I wanted to get into a discount and rip up. So we ended up ripping up, and you'll see my recording this morning on Twitter. You have to scroll down a bit, but you'll see my short here and then covering as it come crashing down. And just, that was it. That was my trade for the day. And sure, I caught the top-ish of the day, but who cares? Like, you could have held for so much more. I don't care. I just want to make money and clock in a positive day. Done. Booyah. And don't touch the button for the rest of the day. Why would I take that trade instead of, gambling on along to my targets? Because we didn't dip first. Had we dipped first, oh my gosh, we would have taken the low of the idiot box, and we likely would have launched right through this puppy. But that didn't happen. It went up first. Wham. Here's the thing. When we came back down into support, or, an order block, we could have done this. It could have done that too. And we've seen this type 2 kind of trendy profile go on all the time, where it could just keep going miles, handles beyond handles. And how do we get in? We've been through that. We just went through that cakewalk period of time, the last few weeks. A lot of weeks. Even on the way down here was down there rather, was fun. So, that was my day. How was your day? Hope it was good. So this is awesome. So basically, nice little sell program in here and comes up. I think this is if I'm not mistaken, there's what does he call it? He launched some new PD array. Not the gauntlet, the other new one. I can't remember anyway. It looks like that. But this one's like wild. So you got your high, low, higher high, lower low, and then check out this breaker. It's so not obvious and the ugliest thing you've ever seen, but look at how precise it is. That was funny. So I was kind of looking at this with you guys in the PM session, not really sure if it wanted to continue or go back down. I think we took a tiny scalp in here and then another tiny scalp at the end of the day. Didn't really want to come up into the fair value gap, but just like you can see why I'd shut it down and not want to just hold and bore you guys through chop, especially if you guys are watching a recording. Like, so lame and expected, but beautiful profile. Open, high, low, close, boom, compression candle. Which brings us to the next part of the episode. What to expect for tomorrow? I have no idea. I really don't. Obviously, it's up only. Buy dips. If it's obvious to you to take a short and you're just taking it, whatever. People, like, there's times to do it, obviously. And especially if a model's presented after the higher time frames are reached. But that doesn't mean you're shorting every little bearish div in every 1 minute chart. Like in an uptrend. Had I held the top of the day, that would have been pretty sweet. But don't matter. Anyway, do we take previous day's high or previous day's low? That's the question. So it's not obvious in this chart, is it? It's just grinding higher. It's doing that thing that I personally really don't appreciate. So we just break down the information in the 4-hour chart, and order flow is just bullish. It just is. I know the natural instinct would be we need to short this immediately, and that's why it's going to go up, because it induces those instincts and then railroads them. So if you look at it with your retail brain, you're like, oh my gosh, look at how that's the top. That's guaranteed the top or your money back. And then it'll somehow reach into that high. So I personally, I know I said this yesterday, but again, I'm not looking for trouble. It's PMI tomorrow. It's unemployment claims. I'm not looking for trouble. So that's 3 out of 3 days this week, 100% win rate still. And I don't want to ruin it. So, like, it's got to be so obvious that, and I have absolutely no need to just wake up and go, yes, I need to trade today. It's great. And I pray that you reach half of that. So then you can carry on to sustaining your gains and clocking in positive P&Ls for the week, being consistent in it. Amen for all of you. So I'm just going to put this line on the chart. If we take that low, I'm offside, and I would then aim for these equal lows here, and if it wants to get really nasty, this guy here. So I'm bullish until we take that low. That's not me calling both directions. That's me saying I am looking for price to reprice in a premium and take previous day's high. And if we take this swing low created here, well, I guess if a swing low is created here in the next 3.5 hours, that's going to be my low to hold, okay, for all day tomorrow to get up into here. But if that breaks, obviously price is going to want to go lower because that's a trending low in my opinion. You could pull from there or there. But this could be for Friday, and that would be pretty sweet too. But that's it. So I'm not really sure what it's going to want to use for support. If anything, it could just chop around and not take either of those high or low. But yeah, shout out to all you guys that are getting payouts and dialed into your self-control. You guys are doing great. I see you out there. Thanks for sending me your screenshots. And God bless you. Thank you all for joining, and we will see you tomorrow. Peace.